March 10th, William Chalmers Bums.
An obstacle can be viewed as an enemy or an adventure. It's your choice. In the winter of 1847, after weathering a fierce storm, William Chalmers Bums arrived on a hostile shore of South China, a war-torn area cloaked in spiritual darkness. No Christian friend greeted him. No European welcomed him. He was armed only with his Bible. The people were resistant of foreign religions, and the Western world considered the place an impossible mission field. The language required years of painstaking study to learn, and Bums only spoke broken Chinese. None of this deterred him, though. He was determined to see the Chinese people come to Jesus Christ. And when he got his first opportunity to reach into the darkness and pull the lost from the fires of hell, he was ready. Dr. Morrison, a fellow missionary, asked Bums to visit 3 Chinese criminals who had been sentenced to death for murder. The men had heard snippets of the gospel, but now, facing their deaths, were desperate for someone to tell them more about Jesus Christ and salvation. And Bums didn't hesitate. A man of great compassion, he took great pleasure in caring for those for whom few others cared, and to be a brother to the sorrowful, the outcast, and the forsaken. God had sent Bums to China for men just like these, and he visited them every day. In his broken Chinese, he desperately tried to convey the gospel, and the criminals, starved with spiritual hunger, strove to understand everything he was saying. But Bums had been learning the Canton dialect, and they didn't speak Cantonese. So Bums took another approach. He and the 3 men read Chinese scriptures together, their own dialect. He read slowly and learned alongside of them. As Bums picked up words in their dialect, they received the truth and devoured it. The long days in that stench-ridden prison were taxing, but little by little, the prisoners began to change. God's word took root in their hearts. They began to pray together. The convicts prayed in their own tongue, and Bums joined them, using whatever words he could. He later wrote in his journal, "I felt encouraged and enjoyed something of the power of grace in praying with and for them." And in answer to those prayers, God worked a miracle for one of the prisoners. The governor decided not to execute him. Nobody had expected Bums to be able to share anything in the language of the Chinese people for at least a year after his arrival. But God used his primitive understanding of their language to lead 3 needy men to the feet of Jesus, changing their destinies forever. Galatians 6:9 says, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." In which area of your life is God calling you to persevere? An obstacle can be viewed as an enemy or an adventure. It's your choice.
Hey everyone, my name is Daniel Carpenter. I'm the pastor of Southridge Church in Fairmont, West Virginia, and I'm also one of the narrators for 365 Christian Men. Today is March 10th, and you just heard a story about William Bums as he worked desperately to share the gospel with Chinese prisoners. You know, today's story is a powerful reminder that saying yes to God may be taxing and it may require perseverance, but it's always worthwhile to say yes to God. So my question for you is this: what is God inviting you into today? What opportunities do you have right before you, right now, that could ultimately bear fruit in your own life? Listen, my challenge for you is to simply say yes to God. Whatever He's inviting you into, say yes, and your life will never be the same.